What up, everyone? This is Mr. Lord, Dr. Professor, Dark Joker, here with another edition of Traditional Fans with Opinions, where I'll give my reviews for whoever I watched, read, or played today. And who are Traditional Fans with Opinions? That is myself, and that is you, the viewers. With all that being said, on with the reviews. Arknights Season 3, Episode 7. So, in this episode, the Chernobyl crisis stuff still going on. So basically, there's a lot of stuff with some internal conflicts within Ursus, and Chernobyl's all that whole threat's coming along, and Lungmin has to deal with that. So Chin wants to confront Tala in Chernobyl. So Chin argues with Wei, and Chin reveals that she's infected and escapes. And Hoshiguma tries to catch Chin, and Chin tells Hoshiguma that she's infected and that Tala is her sister. And the two of them fight. And then, basically after Chin destroys Hoshiguma's shield, Hoshiguma lets her go. So Wei wants to lead Lungmin to turn their Lungmin soldiers to Chernobog and die, since he thinks it's a part of Kasky's plan. So, Cal Outsit asked wants Rhode Island to go after Reunion, since they're an infected organization that they could prevent war. Wei agrees, but he doesn't necessarily trust Rhode Island. So then, yeah, so basically, yeah, so Rhode Island finds guard who's working with the guerrilla, like Patriots guerrillas. And then, yeah, so basically a fight starts between Patriots forces and Rhodes Island. Then, Patriots defeated, and as he dies, Amiya conjures up a vision of his family, but it's revealed that she is now the new Lord of Fiends and successor to Teresa. Which Patriot gets pissed off about that, since Patriot had prophesied that his death would be by the King of Sarkaz. So he, in his dying, basically his dying wishes for Amiya to overturn his fate. So Patriot's death leads to a lot of stuff. Frost Nova's body reacts to it. Then the Shield Guards try to seek revenge, but then they eventually decide to ally with Rhodes Island against Tala. So Rhodes Island then splits over to Doctor and Kaltsit, go into Chernobog sarcophagus. Then Amiya, a bunch of others, they go to the control tower. So the Doctor comes across W and basically gets to an argument with Doctor and Kaltsit. Then Mephisto, goes towards the sarcophagus, wanting to delete his own memories. Yeah. And then, Chen faces Tala. And then, basically what's happening to Teresis, and basically tries to resurrect Teresa to reunite the Sarkaz people. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on right now. So overall, I really like this episode. Looking forward to the next one. Tougen Anki, episode 6. So in this one, some of the Oni corpses that are brought to the facility, they come to life. They start like zombies. So Yeah, so Shiki has to fight them. He like shoots one in the head in front of the corpse's daughter, who's still alive. Now he tries to like cover her, face so that she doesn't see it. Basically, like for once like she can only deal with all those like zombies. He basically like hugs the little girl and is like, hey, he remembers his childhood. He looked up to heroes. He's like, hey, if this is how heroes are gonna deal with stuff, then I'm gonna be the villain. Basically, that's what he says. So yeah. And see, basically, he's ready to protect all the Oni. And basically, Mudano's team fights Su- Subak Subakiri, and basically Mudano wants to help the Kyoto, but like basically he's trapped by a guy named Yomogi Momokusa. And basically like yeah, so I thought this was really good. I thought stuff with Shiki was awesome. His moral, like all the moral issues he's dealing with. So yeah, I really like this episode. Looking forward to the next one. Nobody too. So in this one, so the main character Hutch Mansell is going on missions to like pay off his debt from the first movie. And so he wants to go on vacation, so he takes his family to Plummerville, a park he and his brother Harry went to as a kid, with their dad, who basically was using it for work. And then yeah, so they take the granddad with them, so Hutch's dad goes with them. He kind of stays like this lots the whole time. So Brady gets into a fight in the arcade, and Hutch loses his crap when a security guard hits the Sammy, hit Hutch's daughter in the back of the head for no reason. Understandable. That's your kid. You have some guy like smacking your kid, for no reason. Yeah, I'd be a little pissed off too. Now, probably the amount of damage was not warranted, but went through your kid. You sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. I would, it's better for that not to happen, but go after someone's kids, a lot of bets are off. So, then, Abel, who's like this corrupt sheriff who works for Wyatt, which is the guy Bray fought was named Max. He's like, I guess he plays high school football as a high school like baseball, whatever, as a pitcher. And then like basically like so he's like a spoiled brat. So now Wyatt is like the owner of Plumberville. Like he inherited from his father. He also inherited his father's ties to this drug lord named Lindina. So when Wyatt wants out, he wants out, but Lindina doesn't want that, so she has Abel like abduct Max to keep Wyatt in line. So in order to de-escalate the whole situation, Hutch goes and basically threatens to burn all their money if they don't comply. So they agree, but then he sees Max like get out of the truck like Hank like tied up and all that. So Hutch like kills a bunch of them, saves Max. The only survivor being Abel. So then Hutch takes Max to the lodge where the rest of the family's at. So Hutch, his father, and Wyatt, they prepare booby traps at the amusement park to kill Indina and her men. While Harry arrives, to help Becca protect like the basically to help protect the lodge to protect the kids. Then Becca grabs a gun and a train guard goes for a walk. Basically, she's heading towards the amusement park. And like so, Dina's men's all killed. Becca shoots some trank darts at Lindina, and then basically, so Hutch's father blows a bunch of stuff up, and that burns Lindina to death. So like all the gangsters are killed. Yeah, so then the family looks at like a photo album of all the pictures they took during that vacation. So yeah, I like it. So it's not nearly as good as the original. The original one's way better, but this was fine. It was decent. You know, I'd be interested in another one. Americana. So in this movie, you have different people fighting over this ghost shirt. Basically, it's some Native American shirt that I guess is they believe like be impervious to bullets from white people, basically. So you have different people. So Penny Joe Poplin wants it to help fund like her, I guess goal to go to Nashville to become a country singer. Now she has like a stammer, so she has like a stuttering problem. Helping her is, Lefty Ledbetter, who, despite his name, is right-handed. Basically, he's like a ranch hand who, basically every time he's dated a woman, he like proposes after 2 weeks, and all the women get annoyed by that. He is after his like fourth failure, like so we see him like start hanging out with Penny. He helps her try to get the shirt. You have uh then you have Mandy Star. Basically, she escaped like her cultist father, or whatever. Basically, she has like an abusive boyfriend. She hits him in the back hammer, escapes with the shirt after the boyfriend Dylan like stole it from this rich dude. And so Mandy's quote quote brother, who thinks he's the reincarnation of Sitting Bull, like kills Dylan, and then basically goes with like finds these I guess Native Americans and they go searching for the shirt. So yeah, basically it all culminates at like that Mandy's family's like house. So like her father's like so weird. Basically there's a lot to do. So all like the cooking cleans done by the women, and their issue with a lot of women is that they are basically treated as commodities and they're hoarded out to different men who are willing to pay. Basically they're sex slaves. That's essentially what it is. They're, yeah, there's a lot of problems there. So yeah, so in this, then the gangster that Dylan was gonna give the shirt to, like, he tries to make a deal with Bandy. Basically, there's like this big fight. So the whole Star family. So when they're basically outnumbered, Manny's idea is to give the women firearms so they can fight, but her brothers are like, no, the women shouldn't be hold firearms. Tries to open it, like so one of the brothers points like a hand like his rifle at her, but he's killed by the mother with a pistol. And then another brother tries to like do it, so their one sister's like stabs his foot, and then Mandy shoots and kills him. So basically, all the another brother was killed by Native Americans, like and then the father was killed. So basically, they're all the men in the family are dead. That's essentially what it is. Yeah. So then during the whole bit, like it's revealed that the Mandy's brother is what she said, told people was about, and publicly, it's actually her son. That basically she was impregnated by some man that her father like you know lent her to during his drug use like during the day. So yeah, there's a lot of mess up stuff that cult like so having it that there are enough people die. So Mandy's son like gives it to the tribe, but he's not let in because no one believes he's the reincarnation of Symbol. And Lefty, who had been shot, he dies of his wounds after attempting a proposal to Penny. So Penny basically lays Lefty to rest next to a tree with some beers next to him and all that. Then he presumably starts driving to Nashville. And so Mandy reunites with her son, who like hugs her, and basically so that family's reunited. So yeah, I like this movie. It's fine. It's decent. Some stuff's a little underdeveloped, but there was a lot of good humor here. And the soundtrack is awesome. Like using some real country music, like Dolly Parton, a lot of that. Actual real country music, not this pop music that identifies as country. No, none of that garbage. If you're gonna do country music, do some real country music, like Hank, Lefty, Johnny Cash, all that. No, so this was real country music that played, and I was happy with that. So yeah, I thought it was a decent movie. Thought it was good. Well, that's it. Did y'all like the stuff I reviewed? And if you have your own opinions about all that, you can put all that in the comments. Thank you for watching, and like, subscribe, and all that. And look forward to the next video.